Ladies and gentlemen, first it was Chris Cuomo, then what's his name? um, Chris Cuomo, and then Brian Stelter. That's right. This is the who's who of propaganda and sensationalized, completely biased coverage of Trump and of everything in American politics. But first, it was Chris Cuomo. Then it was Brian Stelter. I think it was a couple of other people also at CNN. Now it's Don Lemon. He is being removed from prime time, and they're placing him in a morning show now. This is a very interesting state of affairs at CNN. I'll read you Fox News, CNN shakeup. Don Lemon moved from prime time to mornings, struggling new day to be replaced. CNN's left-leaning host Don Lemon will end his primetime show Don Lemon Tonight to move to mornings later this year. Okay, the show is a terrible show. It's the same thing every single day. It's pontificating, judgment, condemnation. Here's the difference between me, H.A. Goodman, and Don Lemon or Brian Stelter or Chris Cuomo or anyone at MSNBC. If I say that Hillary Clinton siphoning classified data from secure government locations onto servers running outside of the United States government, okay, if I say that is a crime, guess what? James Comey agreed with me. He stated, although there's potential violations of the legal statutes pertaining to the handling of classified data, and then he said, well, no reasonable prosecutor would indict. But he did acknowledge that what Clinton did was against the law, okay, broke legal statutes. The difference, though, I never make this moral judgment of Hillary Clinton. I never talk about her personality. I never talk about how what her role in American democracy is or how she's trying to tarnish civilization. I don't make a moral judgment of even mashed potato brains Joe. I don't say, he wrote the crime bill. He was there with President Obama to destroy Libya in a failed intervention. He was accused of even more, far more egregious and illegal acts than Trump. He stated the most horrific things or the most absurd things. I should say the most offensive things, especially to Charlemagne the God. Worse than anything Trump said, but I don't pontificate and preach and give these sermons on morality and goodness and good versus evil. And I don't preach, okay? I give you my own thought on what's criminal, what isn't criminal, what's good for the country, what isn't good for the country, what's good for the economy, what isn't good for the economy, and what's fair, what's unfair, but I don't give you lessons on morality, okay? The morally superior, highly educated Democrats among us not only are oftentimes the most immoral in terms of the things that they push for, Biden's writing of the crime bill, for example, in the 90s, that with a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity for the same narcotic that his son, Hunter, was accused of having consumed. We can go on. Okay, so the issue is the following. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'm getting into my long-winded spiel on CNN. Okay? Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. This is a pretty big story. And the reason it's a big story is because you had these CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, and the New York Times have almost become places of worship for morally superior liberal Democrats. They don't read the Daily Mail. They don't read the New York Post, the Federalist. They don't read publications that actually discuss and actually print Hunter's emails that show clear felonies, violations of the law, bribery, graft, obvious kickbacks. Okay? This is infinitely worse than anything Trump was accused of. Okay? Trump was never even accused of kickbacks, of bribery, or I mean, maybe he probably was, but they never really investigated him for that. They thought that he conspired and colluded with the Kremlin. They then found out that he did not do that. Then they're after him for everything under the sun, but it's already 2022 and we have high inflation, recession, interest rates going up, a railroad strike that is probably either going to happen or about to happen. It's up in the air now. Hopefully there's some kind of negotiated settlement, but we have an economy in despair and free fall. Poverty is at 15%, okay? It is at 10.5% under Trump, the lowest on record since 1959. There is no progressive or left-leaning or socialist or Democratic Party argument against Trump's economic performance. You judge a president by his economic performance and also foreign policy. The economy, there's no doubt, there's no debate, there's no discussion. You can have a discussion, but there's really no rebuttal to Trump had a great economy and his policies caused that. 2019, he defeated Clinton in 2016. In 2019, going into 2020, the beginning of 2020, we had record low unemployment, inflation at 2%. Okay, inflation is at we have a low unemployment now, but inflation is at 8 to 9%. A growing economy, we have a recession now. Poverty at 10.5%. Poverty is at close to 15% now. Okay, people are impoverished in Biden's America. People were prospering under Trump. The media, Don Lemon, everyone is CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times equated the Helsinki conference with Pearl Harbor. These people make absurd leaps of logic. It's pure propaganda. It's pure, and then when you point it out, they say, "Oh, well, these are just conspiratorial theories." It's like, no, it's right there. You're obsessed. These people are obsessed with Trump because they get. You don't want to talk about mis or dis information. They get information that's either false or slanted and twisted in such a warped and distorted manner that they believe he's the embodiment of all evil. And they don't know that poverty was at a record low. Don Lemon has never told anybody, which is why he's moving, and they're removing him from Primetime and going on a morning show, okay, where he's not going to preach and pontificate and give these long lectures on Trump and morality, okay? Where, I mean, like, he's nobody to talk. He's he's involved in a lawsuit for a certain issue that he's accused of. But anyway, these people, especially at CNN, should never be giving lectures on morality. Okay, these are the last people at CNN or MSN, the Washington Post, New York Times, who should give lectures on democracy. They actively suppress and silence and try desperately to refute any journalism, any discussion of crimes committed by Hunter or Joe or Hillary. And I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. See, I never make a moral judgment on Hunter. Hunter Biden, his life is not the life you want to live, okay? But I never really go there. I never go there and say, well, what kind of, how did Joe let this happen? I don't really say those things. I don't talk about how, Hunter or Hillary or Bill or all of these people. I never pontificate and preach and give sermons on Bill Clinton in the Oval Office. Oh, don't bring me into this. So I don't do that. And that's why Don Lemon is out. That's the real issue here. It's about emotion. It's a battle for emotion that CNN is slowly losing or has lost. And now they have to change and become more objective, hopefully. This is about emotion. Propaganda is not about information. The journalism today is not about information or truth. It's about a battle for emotion. You can't be suspicious of Democrats. You must be suspicious of Trump. You can't. The New York Post has to be suspended because, you know what? Information that is detrimental to Democrats could help Trump. Well, obviously that's the case. But they don't want suspicion. They don't want condemnation. They don't want judgment. They don't want you to inquire or, distrust them. And they want all of those emotions leveled, those negative emotions leveled at Trump. And Don Lemon for years has done that, and that's why CNN's done. He's being removed from primetime, and he's going to be a morning show. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now, ladies and gentlemen. I should have a live stream later tonight. Thank you.